Welcome back to Music for Miles. Today we're checking out the AeroBand Smart Guitar. And guys, they finally did it. I have a MIDI capable smart guitar on the channel. So in the video today, we're going to walk through what the AeroBand Smart Guitar is, how to use it, app connectivity, built-in sounds, and then we're going to go through how to use this as a MIDI controller and how to integrate it with your DAW for composing and creating music. Let's dive into it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Music for Miles, the channel where we check out all things guitar and music, and we dive into smart instruments and new tech that help you compose music faster and easier. Before we dive into the video, disclosure up front, AeroBand did send this into the channel 100% for free, and they are sponsoring this video. I put all of the gear that is sent to me through a 1 to 2 week testing period. This passed all of the tests I put it through, and this is much, much different than any of the other smart guitars I've featured on the channel. So what is the AeroBand guitar? It's a fully digital smart guitar like I mentioned earlier, meaning that the fretboard doesn't have actual strings. These are kind of buttons. It's like a silicone material. It feels like a real neck, but you can't do bends, stuff like that. Instead, it uses sensors on the fretboard and on your picking hand here, which uses real strings. They kind of go together to give you a full guitar experience in a digital format. Now, you can play this completely standalone without plugging it in. It does have a built-in speaker that has a grill on both sides. The speaker gets pretty loud, has a handful of built-in sounds, acoustic, classical, electric. There's a piano sound in here and even a banjo. Build quality on this is surprisingly solid. It does break down into a smaller size. There's a button here on the back of the neck. You simply press that, pull up, the neck comes out into 2 small pieces. You could stick this in your backpack if you need to travel or bring it to a session. It is modular, easy to use, easy to charge too, takes USB-C. Up top, you have some simple controls here. You have your volume button. This is the mic button. There's a mic input and a headphone input. And then all the way up here at the top, we do have the AeroBand logo, and there's 3 buttons here. Now, the center button is going to change your voicing if you're just using the smart guitar out of the box and you want to use the built-in sounds. The middle button will change that, and then you have your capo, which will basically transpose your guitar up or down. So if you're playing a song that's like capo 2, you just go on here, go up to the second capo position, and play it in your standard chord format, and it will sound like you're using a capo. Here at the bottom, we do have an input, 1/4-inch input if you want to go into like a PA or an amp, and then you have your USB cable as well. It's a USB-C. So that's the high-level overview of the AeroBand Smart Guitar. Now let's talk about how it works. So the guitar does have 9 voices built in, ranging from classical, standard acoustic, electric. I think there's 2 electric models on here. They're going to be clean, not distorted. You do get a bass, piano, banjo, and a clavinet. But the sounds are pretty decent, especially the acoustic and the classical sounds. Now, it's not going to sound like a real authentic acoustic, but it gets pretty close, gets the job done. So if you like to do a lot of stops with your strings, see the little bar, that touch sensitive bar? It registers your hand touching it and it will mute the strings. You can also rest your hand on that bar and strum. And that accurately emulates palm muting on an acoustic or an electric guitar, which is a huge deal. None of the other smart guitars I've reviewed on this channel have that capability. Now, speaking of the mute bar, this is held on with magnets, so you can take it off, and here's what it looks like underneath. You can change the strings, so if you break a string, no worries. You can buy replacement strings and put them on there, change the tension. It's such a wild concept to have a guitar that's digital using real strings. To put the cover back on, again, it's all magnetic. It just goes right into place. Very easy to use. Now up here on the side, there is another feature that's built in if you're using this for gigging, and it's going to be a drum loop. If you press the button here, it shows it's a mic volume button, but it's a dual purpose button. If you press it, it has a different function. So if you press it once, it loads a drum loop. So if you want to play to a drum loop, you can. And you press it twice to turn it off. You can adjust your tempo, your beat, but it's a really helpful tool if you're gigging with this. The only downside is it doesn't do smart bass like some of the other smart guitars do. Now, another cool thing you can do is hook this up via Bluetooth to your phone to play backing tracks. If you want to play along with stuff, or just use this as a Bluetooth speaker. So we're gonna go through in order of the built-in sounds, starting off with the acoustic fingerstyle patch. That's the first patch you get. And we're gonna do some fingerstyles, see how it sounds. All right, so this is the second model. This is acoustic pick. So it's meant to be used with a guitar pick. All right, this next one is electric country. Classical guitar. All right, now we're on piano. All right, now we have bass. Banjo. All right, clavinet. So let's do a quick demo using this as a MIDI controller for a virtual instrument. So here we have Pro Tools pulled up. I have a track called Instrument 1. I'm gonna go ahead and record, enable it. And I'm using just Expand 2. Comes free with Pro Tools. There's a lot of really cool synth sounds. Now all you need to do is take the USB-C cable that I have here. I have it plugged into my Mac Studio. Let's plug it into this guitar. Make sure your guitar is on. And then here's the cool thing. You should be able to hear the synth activate. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Now the volume, you are gonna hear the digital built-in sounds, but you can just turn the volume all the way down on the controller here, and now it's just gonna be Pro Tools. So my track is now recording, and let's just do some synth pad stuff. Now, if you open this up with the MIDI editor, it recorded all of my notes. So if I messed up, like here, you can adjust your notes and edit them in post. But that's the basis of it. Look how fast I was able to create some really cool pad sounds. Again, using Pro Tools, this Pro Tools Studio, I believe, and Expand 2, which is built in, it's free. The Aeroband does have app connectivity. You can download the Aeroband app. I'll put a link below where you can get that app as well. Now there's one really important setting for guitar players I think you're gonna wanna turn on right away. Sync your guitar to the app. You're gonna go into the settings. And once you're in the settings, there's gonna be a technique menu. You're gonna wanna turn on, hammer on, pull off, slide. What that enables you to do is do slides like this. And then you wanna turn on open string hammer on, which is this. You can't go back and forth because there is no hammer off on here on an open string. But if you're going between, two frets here, you can hammer on and hammer off, which is pretty cool. You can even do tapping if you hit the open string first. The app does have a lot more features if you connect to it when it comes to learning songs, playing along. They have a pretty big library, but let's see, we got something on here. So let's load up here, Smoke on the Water. So according to this, I'm late. All right, so we went over pretty much everything having to do with this guitar. Let's talk about my feedback and how I feel about the Aeroband newest version of this digital guitar. Now, it's not meant to perfectly replicate an electric or an acoustic guitar. There is some getting used to. If you're an acoustic guitar player, finger picker, or electric player, stuff like string muting is not going to work. Bends are not going to work. Slides sound a little bit different. And if you're not super accurate with your fingering, it can get a little wonky. But I don't think the purpose of this digital guitar is to replace a real guitar. Given the choice, I would highly recommend you guys learn how to play guitar and pick up an electric or an acoustic over something like this if you're just playing. However, the MIDI capabilities of this instrument take it to the next level, enabling guitarists like myself who aren't necessarily great piano or keyboard players the option to use this as a controller to start making some really cool digital sounds. Whether that's an electric piano, synth, strings, whatever plugin or digital instrument you're using, this will work with it. This instrument is not perfect, so let's get into some of my feedback. Now, the first piece of feedback I have for Aeroband, you need to move this power button. I am telling you right now, I turned this thing off by accident with my chest here while I'm playing because I accidentally leaned on the power button and powered it off mid-recording. Very, very annoying. The power button being right here is too close to your body where most people lean into the instrument. There's a lot of other smart guitars that have the same button placement. I had the same problem. So I would recommend either moving these buttons to the front here. I don't think there's any shame in putting buttons in the front because this is obviously not a real guitar. So having buttons up here actually might look kind of cool like a digital controller. That way when you're leaning on the body and the upper horn here, you're not turning on and off the guitar or messing with the volume. Now the battery life on this guitar was actually pretty decent. I haven't charged this since I got it. I got it about a week ago, and as you saw on the app, I'm still at about 50%. Which is actually really impressive. The speaker on this thing projects, it gets really loud. It's cool that they have mic connectivity. I didn't connect a mic to it or test it out. I think it's amazing that they're using actual strings on here that you can adjust the tension for. The big perk of this instrument, well, first off is the price, because this thing's under 500 bucks. Some of the other smart guitars are crazy expensive for what they are. A lot of really cool built-in stuff, but the fact that it's a MIDI controller takes it to the next level, and that's why I am recommending you guys check this out, especially if you're a guitar player. So overall, this is one of the most interesting pieces of gear I've had on the channel, and I give it a huge thumbs up. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like and drop a comment. What do you think of the Aeroband guitar? And what do you think of the MIDI capabilities? Because that's the game changer for me. All right, guys, until next time, I am Michael. Thanks so much for watching Music for Miles. See ya.